Hey, what's up, everybody? Bdf 44 coming at you another video. All right, I'm running behind schedule for real today. This is not a joke. Last time I was running behind schedule, but not nearly as bad as I am today. I'm supposed to be there at 1 o'clock. It's 11:37, I believe that thing just said right now. Not doing good. Dragging around the house. Slept pretty well, and still a little tired, but not nearly as tired as I was yesterday. But I just was dragging out of the house, man. Just not really moving fast enough for what I had going on. And it just, some days you don't feel like moving as fast. Today was one of them days. Yesterday was one of them days too. But you know, I'm still making the effort to get out and meet my my situation here for Lydia at 1 o'clock. So I'm doing it, man. I had a dream about my mom last night. Slept really well, and some type of thing that she had set up in the room that we were in. I don't know what it was. It looked like it was like a semi pool or something, but it was like a zip line. I don't know what the heck that was, but it broke while I was on it. It malfunctioned. I guess it was supposed to be electrical, and it just moves you at a certain speed, and it just stopped while I was holding on to it. And that's when she showed up in the dream saying, "Dang it, that thing just broke." And I was like, "Hey, mommy." It was like that's when she appeared type of moment. And I gave her a big hug. And, you know, it was really interesting. It was really interesting, the dream was, because I asked her something. I asked my mother something. I was like, "Hey, Mom, have you heard of this person I've been talking about?" I asked her, like, about the girl that I've been praying for here. And my mom said, "She's young as hell." That's exactly what she said. She said, "She's young as hell. Give her a little time. Can you give her a little time so she can grow?" And I was like, I didn't think I was. It's not like I'm asking her out or nothing. I didn't, you know what I mean? I'm not asking her to marry me or nothing. But that was exactly my mom's response to that. And so I took that to heart. I woke up in the morning and said, "Yo, should I like back off of this person in whatever way?" Because I haven't asked her out or tried to date her or anything. That's not even what the dynamic is. So, but I asked my mom in the dream if she had heard of her, because I've been praying about her a lot. And not for any other reason, but nevertheless, that was what my mom said, and I ended up waking up. So that's prompted me into prayer, man. Like, yo, am I doing the wrong thing? Am I sending off a frequency that's not positive? I thought I've been kind of involving the Holy Spirit in everything I've been doing in regards to this person. But you know, maybe I do need to do something different, or maybe not. Whatever, I don't know. But that's what came to me in the dream. And the thing about it was, I hugged my mother, and I could actually feel like arms around me as I was sleeping. You know, it's like physical arms around me. I gotta tie my shoe once again. Give me just a second. I hate when I have to do this, but I ain't about to walk like this for much longer. But yeah, that was how that went. And so I thought that was noteworthy. My mom was like pointing out how young that person is. She's young as hell. That's exactly how she said it too. Give her a little time so she can grow. That was what my mother said. So yeah, I have that in mind too. Like, yo, I am not trying to be Shannon Sharp out here. That is not my intention at all. So yeah, that was exactly how that went. But anyway, so yeah, man, I woke up out of that dream. It was like 3-something in the morning. I went online, saw some stuff on Gaza. Of course, posted it in my story, as I always do on Instagram, because I'm never letting up on that situation. And ended up going back to sleep probably around 4:30. Woke up 7:15, something like that. Felt groggy. Thought I had some more time to sleep, so I did. Woke up at 9. And I guess because I've been adding so much to my morning workout, that it took a little longer to get ready, which makes all the sense in the world, because I have added a lot to what it is that I do in the morning. So yeah, man, getting out the house later. But I wanted to document that dream. I wanted to document that. And that dream, I thought it was kind of funny, but it was also something I took very seriously. And I was praying to the Lord, you know, make sure that I'm doing the right thing, whatever it is. Obviously, I'm a single man, and you know, it's easy to find yourself doing the wrong thing when you're single at this age. So whatever the case may be, I thought I'd been handling myself pretty well in all aspects of life right now in that regard. But You know, the way my mom put it was like, yo, whatever you got going on, whatever you think is, calm that down. So that's really what I took to heart. So yeah, man, I been listening to stuff going on with Shannon Sharpe, and that also is something that comes up, you know, in a man's mind when you get to a certain age and you find yourself interacting or attracted to younger people, people younger than you. It can become a situation where you want to heed all wisdom coming your way. You know, especially if you're a man my age who don't have nobody, you want to heed all wisdom. Because at the end of the day, there are a lot of traps out there. There are a lot of circumstances that you can find yourself in that are not good. And it's not limited to age, but it is more prevalent in our society to see these stories happen when men are dating women that are much younger than them, or rich men particularly dating women that are younger than them, or just young, period, if they happen to be young as well. It gets to a point where the way society is formed in our country, it's a lot of trouble to get into. You can have your money parted with you. Some of the stuff that I predicted would be trickling down from the Shannon Sharpe situation is trickling down. From what I understand, today the report is the $100 million is off the table that he was hoping to get, which is not surprising. I figured that would be the case. And that they have Busby released information that they do have a tape on him and her having whatever relations they were having, but they had no intentions of releasing it nor letting the public know that they had it. As Shannon, just like I figured, had made a mistake in his little statement that he released after this lawsuit was filed, letting the world know that videotape was in the world. And you know, this is one of the more reasons why you don't talk. When you have a case, you don't talk. You let your lawyers do the talking for you. You don't have nothing to say. Because here we are getting this information in regards to him having this case on him, and he opens his mouth and makes multiple mistakes in doing so. Multiple mistakes. Not just one mistake, but like 2 or 3 that played into the other side's hand in regards to his case. He should have just kept his mouth shut. That's the easiest way to play it when you have some type of legal situation. That's the safest way to play it. You just don't say nothing. Don't say anything. Because if you end up saying anything, what you end up having happen is that you don't end up having any defense for what you don't know is there. What you don't know is there. And you may think you know what your case is, but they have other things on you, you know, that you may not know about. And so that's where it becomes a problem. It's to say Shannon Sharpe may not have known that they had no intention of releasing this tape. They were only showing him that tape as a courtesy to let him know that they had it. Furthermore, to probably coerce him into making a mistake like this potentially, for which plays in their favor. They never had any intention of releasing that tape. And according to them, which was released this morning, they didn't, on his side, actually view the tape. He didn't view the tape that he is in. So for him to come out and say it was a 2-minute clip that's likely going to be released, I encourage them to release the 10 minutes. I would myself if I had it, but it's not in my possession. If what the other side is saying is true, he opted not to view the tape, so he don't really know what's on there. He remembers what he did, I would imagine, but he didn't actually see what they have. So that was a mistake on his part too. Why didn't you watch the tape? They got a tape on you. Your lawyers, he said his lawyers, Busby said that the lawyers viewed the tape, but Shannon chose not to. And then after the lawyers saw the tape, that's when they put the $10 million settlement potential on the table, for which they declined. So if your lawyer saw the tape and then immediately was ready to part with $10 million of your dollars to settle the case, why the hell are you coming out telling everybody about the tape? That there is a tape. Trying to get ahead of it. There was nothing to get ahead of. They weren't going to release the tape because they felt, according to them, that this was very sensitive and important evidence for the case. They had no intention of releasing it to smear him. They're trying to win the case, not necessarily smear him. So he anticipated them being intentional on smearing him when actually they had no intention of releasing it. So now we know the tape is out there. So it's best that you just don't say nothing. Using your smarts to defend yourself. And those are the same smarts that you found yourself in trouble using. You use that same brain that got you in trouble, try to get you out of it. And a lot of times, it don't be your intelligence that leads you either way. It don't be what works that leads you either way. Because if you were all that damn bright, you wouldn't have found yourself in this situation. So why are you getting all this type of confidence now? You know what I'm saying? When it's time to defend yourself in a situation where you done something. It's so important that people understand their limitations when it comes to this legal stuff. It's so important people don't let their ego drive them trying to get ahead of something that really just plays into the other side's hands. And that's exactly what Shannon did in multiple areas. And then from there, doxing the woman, telling everybody her name when she came out as a Jane Doe. Just like, I get it, you feel like that's a responsible way to handle it. The courts should have let you know who she was in your mind if she coming after $50 million. But the courts don't agree. They allowed her to be anonymous for a reason that maybe you don't understand. And so you thinking you're gonna slap back at her by doxing her when she's coming out anonymous just further speaks to your poor intentions toward her, which leans into the spirit of the case, with you not having good intentions toward her. And you being retaliatory toward her. It speaks to your character as a retaliatory person. It's just like, again, your brain puts you in this situation. Your brain may not be able to get you out of it. And you got to be respectful of that if you're going to get out of it. Shannon Sharpe, I think you really lost a lot of people on this one, man, as it pertains to your support. There's still a lot of people who are rocking with you. Many people still believe that this is a shakedown, but your decisions and this reaction to what has been filed against you has exposed your character in some areas that disappoint a lot of people who would otherwise support you, and furthermore make you look like you could potentially have been guilty of something that maybe would have made this very easy to file. And that's where I'm at. The Shannon Sharpe, Shannon Sharpe, that ain't the person that I thought he was. Now that I'm seeing how he's reacting to this, that person ain't who we've been seeing on these channels, man. It's making us laugh and giving us commentary on the NFL and the NBA. That's not who I've been seeing for the last couple. Y'all know who this dude is. I don't know who this is. And that's what he stood to risk when speaking on his case. And let that be a lesson to all of us, especially people who have a reputation or fame or anything like that. When you open your mouth in response to the pressure of this case coming down on you, you potentially expose the evidence against you from a character perspective. Now you let people know what type of person you are that found yourself even vulnerable to begin with in this way. You show people what the problem was with you. And it's something you don't want to do. That's something you desperately need not do when you have sponsors to hold on to, when you got responsibilities to your brand, and to your family, and to all these different reputations. When you open your mouth in defense of yourself under pressure in a case that could potentially take big money from you, you may make a mistake or two. You may make a couple of mistakes. Just off the strength of the pressure. You may make, just off the strength of you being hurt that someone would do this. You may make a mistake. And he did. He made a lot of mistakes. He made some very key mistakes that made him look worse and gave us a reason to give her the benefit of the doubt that even if she is on a money grab, this is probably a good person to do a money grab on because he's a piece of crap. That's what he's showing. And now it's a lot of conversation about the potential ESPN employees being uncomfortable with his presence. This is when the politics come into play. Now you're dealing with the politics of perception and appropriate reaction to these circumstances. And that's what people need to understand as well. When you find yourself in these situations, there are going to be some people who are naturally outraged at what they hear about you. And then there are going to be other people who think it makes sense for them to position themselves to appear to be appropriately outraged at your behaviors, so that no one raises any questions about them and that they seem like they're falling in line with the status quo. It's no different than anybody else doing something that everybody else do. People are followers, and people are comfortable with people being followers. We all gotta seem normal. Do you understand what I'm saying? So this is what you end up screwing with when you allow certain things to be attached to your name in certain type of political settings like ESPN or something like that. Now other employees are like, yo, I'm not comfortable with this guy. Why? Because everybody's watching me trying to see if I'm comfortable with this guy. And I don't want them thinking I'm comfortable with this type of behavior attached to anyone. So I'm not comfortable with this guy. Get him out of here. This is absolutely outrageous. Do they actually think it's absolutely outrageous? Probably. Probably not. You know what I mean? Like, they probably don't think nothing of it. They're probably doing a bunch of dirt on their own. But they're going to position themselves properly to be seen a certain way, so ain't nobody raising no questions about them. Ain't nobody thinking they on the outside of some moral standard for which they're supposed to be aligned with. Contractually, as it pertains to how they're supposed to view the world. Everybody's supposed to view the world from a space from which they were raised right. You understand what I'm saying? Even though half of people in the world raised all types of weird ways, but they got to appear to be stable. And so what you end up toying with is their support for you when it's time for people to watch them and make a decision about you. This is what you end up toying with. Because they got to say, well, I got about 30 eyes on me trying to see how I'm going to handle you as you are being coming down on with these allegations. If I support you, I look crazy. If I support you, now I've created some enemies amongst people who are genuinely outraged amongst us in regards to what you've done. Now they don't really look at me the same way. I can't have them looking at me no kind of way because I'm still trying to position myself properly up this ladder. So Shannon, you ruined yourself. You should have kept it quiet. Now we're all outraged, unimaginably outraged, and furthermore feel unsafe in your presence. So you got to bounce. Because ain't nobody about to look at me like I'm not appropriately outraged at you and your behavior. You got to get the hell out of here. If you would have kept it under wraps, even if I knew about it, I'd have kept my mouth shut and played the game just like I'm playing it now. But now that it's time for people to look at me looking at you, I'm outraged. Sorry. And that's exactly what you're seeing there. Is that type of fake stuff. That's what's being reported now. And a lot of them, particularly some of the female employees, are just appropriately outraged at his behavior and just feel absolutely unsafe at his presence. It's like, yo, they playing a political game, bro. Half of them got dirt. And they don't need nobody looking at their direction. Half of them doing stuff on their own private time that's a little weird or strange or whatever the hell. They ain't want nobody looking at them. So you best believe they're going to be appropriately outraged. This is why I don't really like groups of people. This is why I don't like those type of settings. This is exactly why I don't like that stuff. Because I'm a little too real, as you guys can clearly see how I talk on this channel, to play those games. Like, I ain't going to do that. I don't want to appear outraged at something that I just don't give a shit about. I don't want to appear like I don't care about something that really bothers me. And that's the nature of playing the political game in this modern day American society. When you have a job or something like that, you got to be appropriately outraged. You got to be appropriately quiet about certain things. You see, half of these people are seeing babies blown up in their Instagram feed, but they ain't going to say nothing because they have to be appropriately respectful of those who their employers are, who happen to be supportive of this. They could lose their job, bring about unwanted thoughts about them, mess with their political climb. They're not about to blow their lives up for something that don't have nothing to do with them. They're going to play the political game. This is how they stay employed. This is how they stay above the wealth poverty level. This is, you know what I mean? This is how people toy around with morality in this country. I don't subscribe to that. I don't subscribe to that at all. I believe in a living God that tells me to defy all of that for the sake of standing alone and sticking up for what it is I believe in. and being authentic in what it is that I feel, to furthermore display myself as either flawed or having it together, for which I can learn lessons from that space. I can't learn lessons if I'm pretending to care about something I don't. I want the genuine compassion that maybe I'm lacking. And the only way I'm gonna get that is to display my true self and then be held accountable for that. There's fruit in being real, because you can learn how to really understand certain things that you really don't get. But in a world where you're supposed to behave, where everybody's acting all kinds of funny in the dark and not letting their secrets come out and not being real because it don't look right, ain't nobody learning nothing. Everybody just learn how to behave in a structure for which everybody learns how to behave in a structure, and it just goes in a cycle. I don't subscribe to. I don't think we can grow as in humanity that way. I don't think we can grow that way. I don't think anything authentic comes of that, and I think authenticity is the true north to helping you navigate the world that is controlled by a living God. And that, my friends, is why I am the way I am and don't try to involve myself in certain things that in the world around me would seem to bring beneficial dividends to my life. It's because when it really comes down to it, you got to start playing the political game. And when it comes to that, you got to be good at lying. You got to be good at fronting. You got to understand how, when other people are looking at you, and how to behave when they are, and all these different things that is fake and phony and ain't got nothing to do with my character at all, if I'm being completely honest with you. You know what I mean? And then furthermore, you make mistakes in those spaces when you're not exposed to those spaces, just like anything else. If you don't play a lot of basketball, you ain't gonna be no good at it. If you don't play a lot of politic games, you ain't gonna be no good at it. I ain't no good at it. And I'm comfortable with that. That's why I stay out of it. And whatever losses come with not playing those games, it's fine with me. They have to be. Because I wouldn't win if I was playing any damn way as well. I'm more liable to blow the game up and ruin it for everybody. So, and blame it on the living God. Like, I believe in God. I don't care about the structure. Like, literally, I'm not wired for it. And so that's really what it is, man. I just think Shannon Sharpe, the best thing he did was give himself his own platform, because this job situation was always going to fall apart based on him not necessarily playing the game that great his damn self. You know, image is everything in those environments. So if you in your 50s and you align yourself, especially if you're a black man with a lot of money, you're in your 50s and you align yourself with a 19-year-old, 20-year-old lady that's not black, and you want to engage in certain type of alternative lifestyle relations with her, yeah, you're going to have some people that don't like you for that. You probably shouldn't even be engaging in those behaviors while you're working for that company, because if that comes out, it could be a lot more than just a problem for you. You know, people think they bigger than the program in a lot of cases. That's a big mistake when involving yourself in a damn program. Since I'm bringing all this revenue to this company, and since I'm bringing all these ratings to this company, that don't apply to me. I can break the rules, and they still gonna need me here, because look what I'm bringing here. Look what I look like when they don't have me. Well, what you gotta realize is, just like they found you, they can have the confidence that they can find somebody else who could do what it is you do. You are a tool in their system. They pat themselves on the back for bringing your successful self to their situation. It's not about them needing you. It's about them having the confidence that they can get you. They've been successful. You see what I'm saying? And so whether they need you or not, their confidence is going to be above that, for which tells them they're adhering to you for their success, because they found you. They can find someone else. That's the secret to being in that space. You're not having a big head when these people have made billions of dollars off of what it is that their choices have been. You don't come in saying, I'm bringing all this revenue to you, and you're having a downtime, and then proceed to do things that make it so that you eat away at your own value. Because what ends up happening is that confidence that they have drives them to fire you, even though they probably could use you for what it is that success means to them. They're not going to have that success necessarily, but they're also not going to have you eating away at your value while attached to their company. They'll still get rid of you. That's what I would say to all those wonder kids in these different cycles these different systems. You're a wonder kid. You bring so much greatness to the game that you play that you don't own the environment itself. Don't think you're bigger than the program, fam. They will get rid of you and find somebody else who's just as good. Because their platform in their mind attracts excellence. And you're not the only excellent thing out there. They already got his replacement. Travis Kelce's brother. I think that's how that goes. Dude from the Eagles. They already got Shannon's replacement. Now, I don't know if it's going to work or not, but that ain't the point. The point is that you think they didn't have the confidence to replace you was foolish. That you think just because you bring so much to them and that they weren't as good, they weren't doing well when you got there, that they wouldn't have the confidence to move on from you even though you're doing stuff that you ain't got no business doing. And terrible mistake. Terrible mistake. You're underestimating the ego of the people above you. You're underestimating their cockiness as it pertains to being able to attract more greatness. Mistake. And so this is where I'm at with Shannon Sharpe, man. I just am, I think the stories, it's live right now on the internet. A lot of people are talking about it. I think it had died down a little bit, but new developments keep popping up, just like in the Diddy thing. So every time something new pop up, it's more to talk about. But I just think Shannon Sharpe, he showed people what's behind the mask, man. I would not at all be surprised to see him suffering from some type of CTE, just like most of these football players, I believe, are suffering from CTE. And it drives a lot of their wacky, psycho behaviors. I really believe that, man. If some reason, someday we find out Shannon was suffering from CTE, the last person to be surprised is me. No. I think that that's extremely prevalent in that sport for whatever reason. I don't know why. I'm not sure what, but it's at this point, anytime I see somebody who played in that league doing something that hurts themselves or hurts others, the first thing to come to mind is that particular brain disorder. Especially when they leave themselves vulnerable to be caught. It's the same idea I have about drugs too. If you own drugs and you're a high functioning drug addict, there's still going to be circumstances where you are likely going to leave yourself vulnerable to be caught for something you had no business doing, or ultimately leave yourself unsafe, or something along those lines. You're going to do something that doesn't play into your favor. It's just what I've seen, man. And when it comes to CTE, it's the same thing. It's almost like being on a very, very high drug, really high level drug to a degree. They're just going to do wacky, ridiculously, sometimes violent and or depraved behaviors. It's just what comes with it. Man, as you know, I'm one of the spirit. I think it's a demonic thing that attaches itself to their brain in some way. It's a demon in a way, if you ask me, that drives them into being horrible human beings. That's what CTE has shown me time and time again. People doing wacky stuff, violent stuff, hurting people, desiring to hurt people, hurting themselves in the process, or whatever the case. It's like, yo, that's CTE right there. There we go. Another case, NFL. And I would not doubt that this is what that is. I would not doubt it. And he got some probably minor case of it, but it's there. I don't doubt it. I know they want that to go away, but we can't unlearn what we learned already, fam. We can't unlearn it. And I know y'all was mad at Will Smith for making that movie. I didn't see it, but I know y'all was mad when he did that. I ain't forgot about that either. We see where Will Smith is right now. How that whole thing trickled down. Him being banned from the Oscars for 20 years or whatever the hell it is. And I don't know if those two things are related. I don't know that they're not. But I know if you pee off the wrong people, you're going to get certain consequences come your way in different angles. Like, where'd that come from? You made them angry over there in that era, so they're going to get you in this one. Or whatever the case may be. They usually use something you do to hurt you. So if you don't do nothing, they don't have nothing any rope against you. And that's a whole other story. Obviously, Will Smith with that smack. But nevertheless, man, at the end of the day, I just think that we need to be cognizant of and I'm going to say this with a whole lot of confidence, allowing our children to play football. Be cognizant of that. That's the first thing that comes to mind after this conversation. Be cognizant of that there could be something that could potentially turn them into absolute psychos. It just is what it is. The evidence is there. And something that correlates with that sport to people having a brain deficiency disorder that turns them into violent individuals. It just is what it is. And we could run from it. We could pretend it ain't there. But every once in a while, you start seeing one of these dudes from the NFL doing some absolutely crazy psycho stuff, and you say, you know what? Yeah, they probably got something going on in their head. There's some type of CTE disorder that makes them want to do stuff that you know damn well you ain't gonna do in your right mind. Big black man chokes little white woman. And at no point in time in my life will I ever utter those words with any sort of seriousness in reference to myself. For a million different reasons, but none other than I'm a black man, and that is absolutely crazy. Doing that, saying those things in any capacity, texting anything of all of the sort, especially when you got millions of dollars on the line and you are an employee of Disney or whatever, what have you, employee of Fox at the time probably or whatever. You don't even leave room for that to be something that anybody would otherwise find. It's not there. You don't let it be. You don't let it happen, you know? You're leaving your backside vulnerable when you even let something like that fly out of your face. I don't care the context. You see what I'm saying? Who cares the context? Well, we was just playing. No, you shouldn't be playing like that. You got too much to lose. And most importantly, you have an image that is responsible for not having anything to do with that type of energy. How the hell are you betraying that in the dark? And people are going to do what they do in the dark. I get that. But when you have a lot to lose, you got to discipline yourself. You got to see the fruit in disciplining yourself against certain things. Certain things ain't no good for you. You're not going to win doing that. You potentially lose everything doing that. At some point in time, you just got to protect yourself. And so that's what I'm saying to all of y'all, man. Protect yourself, protect your children. Have them play soccer, man. Have them play basketball. Have them play baseball. Have them play golf. Have them do something else, man. But that football thing, no. No, my kids, I ain't having them play no kind of football. Oh, sir. No, sir. Not with CTE running around putting in their brains the intention to harm themselves and others. Oh, no. And I got some psychopath walking through my door, millionaire. No. The devil done won that war too many times with our brothers, man. No more. And as I told y'all guys on this channel a million times, my cousin, believe it or not, a cousin of mine, was the first person in the NFL diagnosed with CTE. John Mackey. My dad's side. It's my dad's first cousin, if I'm not mistaken. I found this out well after that. Well after John passed away. I believe his name is John. I'm not even sure if his name is John, because I wasn't familiar with him. But I know his last name is Mackey. And I know he was the first NFL player diagnosed with CTE. You see what I'm saying to you? No, is what I'm telling you. He was a Hall of Famer, tight end, one of the greatest tight ends of all time, from what I understand. Well before my time. Played for the Colts, I believe. That's a cousin of mine, yo. My own flesh and blood. Absolutely not. We ain't, no. Absolutely not, I'm telling y'all. And plus, I don't like how the NFL get down, man. I look at them as a KKK, if I'm being completely honest with you. And I've looked at them as a KKK for a long time. I don't like how they move, bro. I don't like how blatant they are with their white supremacy. I really don't. That particular organization, they're blatant with it. And we ain't talked too much about that Shedeur Sanders situation, because I just wasn't informed enough. I don't really follow it well enough to really have an informed point of view on that. I understand that the NFL has dealt with a lot of ridiculous hot-headedness as well, so they may not have as much of a patience for that type of thing. So I just left room for what it is I didn't know. For all I know, Shedeur is out of his way, getting in his way, out of his mind, or what have you, with his arrogance. And what was reported, he was probably moving in a way that would really upset and concern them type of people, if I'm being honest with you. But they understand who their fan base is. That's the one thing we got to always remember about people like this. They understand who their fan base is. And a good portion of their fan base is racist white America. Just be honest. Good portion. Just like I say, the government know who's following them, who's most focused on their politics. Is those people too. So they're going to pander to that when it's time to pander to them. I mean, it's one thing I know about those people is they do not like black arrogance. When you're an arrogant, brash, loudmouth black person, they don't like that. They loathe that. They don't want to see it. They don't. It's a disrespect to their sensibilities as human beings. They hate black arrogance. So if you're going to come out as a black person with a loud mouth and arrogant, they're going to tear your ass down, and they're going to do it slapping hands with one another as if they won a damn championship. This is something that I want all people to follow me to know that I know. I know this. They hate black people, but they definitely hate black arrogance. They like their black people nice and calm and subdued and aligned with the ideology of white supremacy being ruler over them. That's how they want you to be. Align with their politics, align with what it is that they believe, licking their boot, saluting their flag. They don't want you, you know what I mean? If you saw some black people getting beat up in the streets, you ain't supposed to be kneeling for nothing. No. Not when it's time to salute their flag. Not with them paying you all this millions of dollars to run around for them. No. You will not disrespect their supremacy. Period. This is what's there to see. A lot of people ain't gonna word it this way because, like I said, they're playing political games in their own lives. Hey, you can't do that. We're gonna disrespect some people. We're gonna anger some people. Some people are gonna think of us as the worst people in the world. No, I don't do that. I don't think like that. I think this is very constructive. I think this is very respectful. I think I'm reflecting to you what they're showing to me. If they don't show it, I don't see it. This is what they do. This is how they act. And so, as far as I can tell, that's what it is to see there. I don't have to pretend like I don't see it. Just like they don't have to pretend like they don't feel it. It is what it is. And a lot of black people love being in the NFL. They love it, man. Because they're making millions of dollars to do what they love to do. So, as far as they can tell, Master been good to them. I respect it. It's a lot to lose when you buck against people who are giving you generational wealth from which to hold on to, regardless of the reason. Especially if you agree with the reason. People going to jail, going to jail, and going to work doing things they don't love to do, to make half of that, fourths of that. So you see it as a great opportunity to get to live your dream. If you got to adhere to a little bit of white supremacy, you ain't worried about it. A lot of black people don't care about that. They have to adhere to it any damn way in their walks of life. So they ain't gonna be upset about it if it's while they're living their dream. I understand that. It's convenient cooning. I'm not mad at you. But don't be surprised when whatever devil attacks your brain or whatever deficiency that it may from playing that game with them people. Oh, you don't think those two things correlate? Well, if you don't believe in the spiritual, then you won't. Me? Like I always say, you take anything from the devil and ain't for your betterment. Period. You let the devil control what goes on in your life. You welcome demons into your life or sinning into your life, you're going to have certain energy to come with it. It just is what it is. How many parallels in this conversation do we have to see about this for us to understand it? And Shannon Sharp sitting up here, welcome. I don't want no woman of God. I want a sinner. I want a sinner. He said that in the presence of millions of people. And this is what comes with that, ladies and gentlemen. This is what comes with that. He want a sinner, he got it. He didn't want a person of God. Okay, cool. But you don't get what comes with coming with towards something that the Lord actually has for you. See, it ain't cute to a lot of these people that are influenced by the devil's cultures to go toward God's intentions. It's soft, it's weak, it doesn't allow you to express yourself in ways that you feel comfortable. All of these expressions that obviously need to be guarded against because they don't bring about the right reputation nor reception toward you. A lot of these things you just need to be strong enough to discipline against rather than to feed these demons. But nevertheless, you now have that wisdom. So you're going to roll with what the devil does that allows for you to feed those demons instead of the strength required to discipline against those things. And so in your devilish confusion, as we often talk about, you're going to think you should be welcoming the devil's energy and the devil's intentions toward your life. So that through the undiscipline of your sinful behavior, you can feed those demons. And what comes with it? Your downfall. Thank you, Shannon Sharp, for being yet another example for humanity to question going toward bad for fun. Because we've seen people do this and we've seen what comes with it, and you're just another one who did it. Showed us the same thing. I don't want nothing the devil got. I'm trying to get rid of everything that he may have that reaches my mind from cultures that I was celebrating when I was a child. I don't want nothing the devil got. Why? Because it don't come with nothing good. And the things that make me drawn to it need to be disciplined against for that exact reason. Am I struggling with that in certain areas of my life? I believe I am. I'm not exempt from this. I'm not out of the woods with this. But I know what I'm aiming for, and that's why I bring it to you in hopes that you'll aim for what's good for you. You don't want nothing the devil got, man. None of his symbols are cute. None of the behaviors that he wants you to engage in are for your betterment. All of the stuff that he wants you to do is going to come with your downfall with it. Come with your embarrassment with it. God ain't going to embarrass you. God ain't going to have nothing attached to his intentions for you that's going to lead you toward embarrassment or downfall. So when you start listening to cultures that are telling you to go toward the devil's this or the devil's that. I was listening to a song a couple days ago, man, saying you're going to drink the devil's water. You don't want no devil's water, bro. No, you don't. Because it ain't going to quench your thirst. It's poison. And it's likely going to tear your insides up. We don't want to be kind to people. And I say kind with a different way of looking at it. It's not that you don't want to have decency towards individuals, because you probably do. In your walk of life, you don't want to show your backside just because you don't agree with somebody. But you do want to shun certain things. And that's what I mean by being kind. You want to represent yourself well at all times. And your manners are going to help you do that. But in the presence of people who are investing in the intentions of making it so that you and your crowd are drawn toward things that don't come with good things, those people don't deserve your best. As it pertains to you adhering to them or supporting them or pouring your money into them, we've been doing this for hundreds of years in this country. We need to stop. Stop supporting people that don't mean well by you, systematically by what it is they're selling to you. Stop supporting these people, man. Stop waiting for a certain cause to make you boycott them. Know that what they're doing is meant for your destruction, and boycott that off the strength of that. They're selling you stuff that's been killing you for years, making you addicted to things you need to discipline against, that you need to get off of, wean off of, the addictions for years. Stop making them wealthy off of the deterioration of your mind and the deterioration of your life, for limited as it is. Stop paying these people to kill you. That is not culture. That's just another version of that Shannon Sharp bullcrap. I want a sinner. I want a sinner. And you get what come with it. You want a person that God bring into your life, because that don't come with nothing bad. That don't come with your downfall. Anybody taking $50 million for you for that? Ain't nobody saying that they don't want to be around you because of that. And your need to engage in some type of weird sexual behavior, that needs to be disciplined against, so it doesn't draw the devil's interest to your life. That's something you want. That's a want you don't want. As we often talk about, to be of better wants. This is how we discipline ourselves against the tunnels that ultimately the devil crosses to get to us. I don't need to want this. I don't want to smoke cigarettes. Why? Because cigarettes is going to eat at my lungs, and it's going to eat at my money. It's going to kill me, and I know that. I don't need to be telling myself I need that. I need to be telling myself I need to get off of that, because it's going to kill me. And the object of the game is to survive. If it's not, the object of the game is not to survive, then let's hop off the highest point just to experience falling. Why protect ourselves in any damn thing? Let's have unprotected sex with every woman we see. Age? What age? Let's take every drug we can find. If that's the object of the game, is not to survive. Let's do every daredevil thing we can think of. You know what I'm saying? Make it make sense. Align your life with what makes sense. If you're going to do anything at all in the name of survival, then see it all the way through. Welcome the right things to you. That's really my point of view. I'm not telling people that they're wrong for not being strong and wanting to give up on life. A lot of people do self-destructive things because they didn't have enough. But there's strength to be had. There's strength to be had. No, of the idea that you can be stronger from this moment on. You don't have to be as weak as you've been. You don't have to be as fed up as you've been. You can restore that energy that ultimately makes you want to protect yourself. You can restore that energy that ultimately is lost when you decide you want to go towards certain vices for comfort. You can restore that energy. It's possible. You don't have to, by way of your example, influence others to their destruction because of your lack of strength in the moment. You can find that strength and be a better example so that others don't follow you down the path of destruction. There's a way. And if you just know that there is a way, you can give yourself an opportunity to live through the difficult moment to get to that point. But understand what you are is an example of others. And others will follow you just to be following. They're not following you because they're as depressed as you. They're following you because they want to be a part of something. And a lot of times they're going to end up getting even worse consequences for what it is that you did to cope with your pain. Just because they wanted to be a part of something for which they felt you were doing. That's what it's really about. It's about example. It's about how you reflect upon yourself and your last name, how you reflect upon others when you do certain things that you do. And so being cognizant of that and caring about that will allow you to be a good example as opposed to being indifferent to that, and being self-destructive will allow you to be a bad one. And you're going to be judged for it whether you care or not. Judged by the people around you, judged by the God above you. So let's do well in our lives while others are watching. Just like you do in politics, when you know people are watching, you want to make sure that you appear to be stable. So too should you want to do in regards to your behaviors, especially when you're under pressure, especially when you're feeling depression. Care then too, just like you care when it's time to keep that job. Care then too, when your kids are watching you behave however they do. Care then too. And so that's really what I got to say, man. I got to get where I'm going. I'm obviously running behind, but this was meant to be said. Bdf 44, thank y'all for watching.